entertaining portion of their day, or trying to find some happiness in their day, they have difficulties making the time. There's also a lot of people who eat up a lot of time by saying things that, well, although they are important, and listening to them is important, it's also important that I get heard. And that has not been happening. It's been, I have to take a side seat to literally everyone. And I have to stay in places that are unsafe for me to stay in. There's also the fact that the laws keep changing depending on who the cops are talking to. And we have hundreds of people in this town recorded doing that and saying that. But the thing is, in the recording I'm about to play for you, you're going to get to hear how difficult it is to get someone to make time. When I have to set aside everything because I don't have the money to keep running around, well, that ends up with me sitting literally all day yesterday waiting and all day today waiting, hoping, having to run back and forth here in town, knowing that running back and forth is just going to increase my chances of getting a ticket because I have no fucking clue what the speedometer says. Now, to get his undivided attention, I basically got to wait until everyone's gone. And that's why I'm going to start playing this recording, and I hope it does play. Did you say Joe Wayne? 9:45. Alright, now there is a couple of occasions in this video where, I'm going to pause it for a minute because I do need to reposition myself. Alright. So, you can tell I'm trying to get some attention there for a bit, but he's going to be busy flirting, kind of, sort of, just... I try to make light of the situation, fun of the situation, and all that, but, I mean, really, I'm out of my element. And I'm trying to vie for attention so I can get someone to look at my evidence, and it's really difficult, and it's not easy to do. And for a lot of the stuff that he wants me to send him links to, that's one of the things I need help with. I mean, I can send them easy enough, just not in text messaging. Some of them I'm able to share to text messaging, but it all becomes a pain in the ass because then I'm having to spend time down here I'm worried about my stuff in the mountains, and I just spent 2 days, wasted 2 days to try to hopefully get time for him to listen. Now, for the last 35 minutes or so, we did kind of work on that finally. And you see how hard I had to fight for that. I need somebody to look at this stuff so that they don't go in unprepared and full of shit. So I showed him where a few of the videos were, and he did take some screenshots so he might be able to look them up later. But the thing is, I need that information shared and spread quickly, not 6 months from now. I did send him the mandated reporter stuff, and he took a picture of that, but who knows if he'll even get time to look at it. The fact is, they're not following the law. And unless one of you guys actually cares about these people not following the law, they get to continue not following the law and destroying my name, forcing me to do desperate things that are unsafe, knowing that they're unsafe things for me to do. A lot of people, when I try to explain about my disabilities, they don't want to understand it. They want to pretend they know everything already. I don't know what to do. I didn't get to spend any time showing them much or explaining much. It's the very end of the night when I'm fucking frustrated. I mean, that lady, and you're gonna get to hear her telling her story. Like, she stood there for almost 20 minutes holding two things of laundry. She was holding them for about 20 minutes while talking. She talked about the situation with Molly and Fred Meyer, and the first time she came and talked to me, and how she confused me for Tom. She thought that I was the one who was sleeping underneath that blanket over by my car. No, he was trying to get away from Molly, same as me. I got all that recorded. The problem is that people just assumed. They didn't bother to find out. And that's the thing about Chris, is that I've had to try to battle through his assumptions and his suggestions from his complete and total ignorance of the situation, and him talking about a lot of his situations, trying to convince me that turning it in won't do any good. Well, it doesn't do any good if you make a disabled person turn it in alone, because then those mandated reporters can tell any story they want. That's why I was instructed by lawyers to record everything. I'm a disabled and at-risk adult. By law, I'm allowed to literally record everywhere. Anytime that I feel that a crime is likely to be committed against me, I'm allowed to record. And because of long-term abuse at the hands of law enforcement and the courts of homeless and disabled people nationwide, I do have the right to record everywhere. Literally everywhere. If I go to your house, I even have the right to record there. That's right. You have the right to expect certain things as far as your privacy goes. However, when it comes to abuse against children, the elderly, or disabled adults in at-risk situations, according to federal law, you may expect, I want to make sure that I stated how it's written. You have no reasonable expectation of privacy when it comes to abuse against children, the elderly, or at-risk adults, disabled adults, in at-risk situations. Not at-risk adults, it's elderly or disabled adults in at-risk situations, which I obviously am. I'm at high risk for abuse. I don't fit in with the druggies. To them, I'm basically a cop. I don't fit in with the cops. To them, I might as well be a druggie. And explaining to druggies how horrible that is, a lot of them are like, oh yeah, I remember the time I got busted with this and the time I got busted with that. And I'm like, I didn't get busted with nothing. Now, I didn't get to explain shit to Chris after spending the whole day hoping. He says he gets here at 8, but it isn't until 10:30 or so that he stops doing his socializing thing. And yeah, he cleans while he socializes and talks and listens to all those women's problems. And sometimes men come in and do their laundry. But I'm not going to somebody needing a therapist. I'm needing a mandated reporter to do their jobs, and they're not going to do their jobs without a friend or family member who speaks up. None of my friends or family members spoke up. They made me call them and record our conversations to show that I was telling the truth. There's a lot of stuff to show him. I'm not able to take care of myself. I can't exactly go up the mountain and do what I need to up there. I don't have enough of a charge on anything to do anything. Anyway, I'm reparked. I'm gonna press play on this. I do try to make a few jokes to try the subject a couple of times. There's also when they get to reminiscing and they'll spend 20 minutes trying to figure out who's related to who. Oh, is that Ed's wife? Is that Ed's wife? Oh, I didn't know Ed and his wife. I didn't know their last names and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's little bits and details of their conversations that I do remember, and you'll get to hear that too. But it gets real complicated for me because I am trying to be patient and I'm trying to understand that those are customers and, kind of like a bartender, they're used to him listening to their problems, sort of, or, making jokes over their problems in a lot of cases. But, like, I didn't get to explain hardly anything. I didn't get to hardly connect any dots. We didn't have the time. The few other times where we have had a little bit of time, it ended up being dominated by his assumptions, and hopefully we've gotten to push past those. But, for him not being able to take a look at, he sees my living conditions every day, but he doesn't speak up about how inhumane it is. He says he understands a lot of things, and he very well may understand those things, but the thing is, if he understands those things, then he needs to speak up about them. Now, I have to coordinate with someone who's willing to actually help, but it's difficult to coordinate with people when they can't find the time and can't make the time. And then the police claim that I never tried to get help. That's one of the things, is that it's not just the evidence that I need to show him that, the things that people said and did to me. But that's also the fact that what they said to others about the situation doesn't match up. What I need is someone to take it seriously and call up with these places with me and take it seriously then too and actually speak. They need to actually know what's going on and actually speak up, but it's gonna take 6 fucking months. Let me ask you something. If your son or your daughter was raped today, would you try to drag it out for 6 months, or would you take the time? And that's the thing about Chris, is that if he's going to take a day off, we need to take a day off to call Adult Protective Services and do that stuff. Not send me on to housing in Portland or Eugene or someplace like that. Because, yeah, sure, we can do that stuff, but we have to get these criminals turned in first. Otherwise, the issues that were created by these criminals to begin with will continue to exist. My lack of funding will continue to not exist. I don't have any money because of crimes that were committed, and that's what I need Chris and everyone else to understand. Crimes were committed against me. And I understood that he had to go home and that he didn't have much time. That's the thing about spending all this time having to waste time hoping that people will actually make the time to keep their word, but they never do. They never do. I waited in this fucking parking lot all day long. It's unsafe for me to go anywhere. All right? My speedometer hasn't worked almost since I got the fucking car. It already had issues when I got the car. I don't know how to fix this stuff. I don't have $130 to fucking spend on this shit. And I'm still stuck next to this goddamn road. Oh, and there's one of the porkers again. I can't fucking stand those pieces of shit. Anyway, we're 2 minutes and 11 seconds into this, and it's still got an hour, 51 minutes, and 18 seconds to go.
Yeah, you could, right? If I'm supposed to say something that's rude, like, yeah, I got real work to do. So they could. If a golf will be out and say stuff, okay. I get you would. You know, I saw that one on Trump's, they didn't measure all the recording. You know, I do a good props. Yeah, I do. If I want to get myself a hot day sunrise, to give me some pictures for my pictures. Although I'm not really I'm not straight either. I'm just not in make pretty. I think that makes me pretty for now. Huh? What? I don't know what you said. Yeah, did I hear unicorn up there? No, it's not my unicorn. It's not a unicorn at all. It's really cool. And it's my favorite color too. What did you say now? Something that wasn't important enough to listen to. I know, obviously. I can't multitask. I've already told you that before. Yeah, I'm not outside, and like people pretend I can't multitask, but I'm overwhelmed. There are things I just don't try. No. Didn't you see I was trying to open a contact? I wasn't able to. I did, and you were letting me know that you're open to trash things, so you couldn't hear me, which is perfect opportunity I get to do today. You need to make these phone calls right next to this big serious road. Where you guys gonna try driving 20 miles off in the country where there's no service. And then when the cops are gonna come to my window and talk to me, tell me, you don't open your door, I can't hear you. I'm like, welcome to my world. Sorry. But it's true, I gotta call all these places that I have to call and maintain my attention. And I have to do things so busy highway. I gotta deal with kids screaming at night and everything closed at night, and that's actually the quietest time of the day. Normally I have to see. Oh my god, those giants are pissing me off so bad. I'm not allowed to act up there anymore. So much damage down there? Oh yeah, I'm still out there. I'm not allowed to but I'm not going back to TFCC. They did that whole pretending like they're gonna play victim, and I know what that's about, and I don't play that game. That's why I record them.
Alright, I'm going to pause this for a second. There was 2 times earlier in the night where he did say something about looking at my evidence, and one of those times he told me I should just plug it back in, so I did. It was only at 10% charge, so I turned it all the way off to be able to do that. And then another one of those times, it was, he was in the middle of conversation, and he did stop to say something about the evidence, and I got prepared to show it to him, but I explained to him that I was trying not to be rude and not interrupt all of his conversations. And, I was, well, as always, I'm trying not to be rude, but I need to be fucking heard. A lot of people, they just want to do the reminiscing thing and talk about a lot of the stuff in town. And, well, thank goodness a lot of it is actually relevant to what I'm going through. So that's what makes this recording so important. All right, I'm going to press play again.
I never went to Mexico, but I was given a sucker once to the Mexico. I was supposed to get somebody else on that. No, I'm gonna do one-on-one coin op. I don't want to ask you where I was first. You want to join third. What do you say? Or earlier, you said we're going to have to take quarters to him. Yeah. Well, then you'll end up with nickname quarters. My first time was nickname
One of
quarters.
the undercover vehicles just drove by.
Good. A common name association with a bunch of bugs. It might be raining because you were falling under a train like maybe you were drunk and it cut off some of your toes. But you might share the same nickname with gangsters, and that can get you in trouble. There might be a man who was born in Chicago, born with only 6 toes. Yeah. Let's cover him while you're at the train station, while you're in a relay line. Here you go walking along with it. That's right.
My phone's about to die and I'm afraid to drive anywhere. That's the thing. I gotta pause this and stop it. That's one of the problems about not being able to record everything live all the time, is that trying to post it up on the internet in its entirety takes a lot of fucking time. So this is basically 2 hours worth of time to try to get about 20 minutes of his time. But it's not just 2 hours of my time, it's 2 hours of recording. That's not counting the recordings from earlier and the time that I did not have the ability to have it recorded because the thing fucking died on me. Now I have to plug in my phone to an external battery, one of the ones I was charging in there, and thank goodness I was able to charge it. But that's the thing about having to do it in a laundromat while somebody's fucking working. I need actual help. When Dallas said that he was gonna rent a room for me for a night, that would have been real helpful. But also, you should look at how these people treat me when they have ignored me to the point that I literally am begging people to fucking kill me. And then they're treating me like shit because I'm begging them to kill me. No, you've already blown me off repeatedly over and over again to chase pussy. I am fucking frustrated. There's a big difference between a good person and a nice person. And I'm not going to argue about whether or not he's nice. He is nice. But the thing is, he was only only willing to take a day off to help me if it's to do what he wants. And what he wants is devoid of any information other than his own assumptions. That's why I'm trying to show him evidence. That's why I try to show all of you evidence. When you tell me you're not able to because you don't have time, the police, if you're not telling them that, they'll make up whatever story they want. That's why you need to speak up instead of making me do it alone. And if I have to literally show you every bit of 6 years worth of fucking abuse, they all get away with it because there's a time limit. God damn it! Do you not understand that? No, you're not a good man. You're a nice person. But you're too busy hitting on chicks at the laundromat to fucking pay attention. It is frustrating. And when someone tells me over and over again about having kids, yeah, I know. That's why I'm trying to get heard. Instead of turning everything into a fucking argument, please listen. Now, he did try to understand the I can't multitask thing. If the TV is fucking blaring and I'm trying to fucking concentrate and I'm already overwhelmed I just want to tell people to shut the fuck up. They're telling me stories just to share stories. I don't fucking need that. If you need help turning it in, we can work together to turn in these crooked ass fucking cops. But I need fucking help too, before all of my fucking money is fucking wasted again on empty fucking promises. And I'm not allowed to have any reaction. All of these people are allowed to get angry. Anyway, I was able to show Chris some of the stuff from my sister about the threats against her. There's a lot to show him, but the thing is, how am I going to show him when I spend 2 days fucking waiting in a goddamn parking lot to get 20 minutes? 20 minutes. He gave me some cigarettes, that's nice. It's about the same as giving somebody a fucking sandwich, though. It's not the help I need. The help I need is to be fucking heard. For it to be taken seriously. Daniel Brown typed, "Hi, how are you today? Good." New Zealand. Hello, New Zealand. There is a few of you guys that get on here. I'm not sure if you noticed, being from New Zealand, you might be familiar with some of my scary faces and my screaming. You guys got something called the haka, which is very similar. I'm not good today. I'm not good any day. I run around begging people please to listen and understand, but they blow me off, as they always do. Instead of people trying to understand autism, that it's not a choice, that sensory overload is not a choice. Instead, we're treated like we're psychos, or like we're just being lazy, or we're just snowflakes. Daniel Brown type dogs video, I'm good, please you. I'm not sure what you were trying to type or if I'm just interpreting it wrong, but that doesn't seem to be something that makes sense to me. Anyway, when I try to be scary, do the yelling, the power yell from my sternum. I like to use powerful arm movements. And then there's, of course, the sticking your eyes real big, tilting your head back a little bit, sticking your tongue out and biting it. Ah! Most of the time, I don't stick my face out. I just do this, except in an angry voice. Let my people go! Yeah. I had to learn facial mannerisms and I had to learn to get heard. You know who gets heard? Predators. Why do predators get heard? Because you want them to like you. When people are nice to you, they don't mean as much. Now, we do have a difference of sexes in that. For a lot of guys, they're not looking for acceptance from 400 people. Acceptance from one person is enough. As long as that's one real friend. I've never had a real friend. I've had fair weather friends. See, I'm a funny and fun person to hang out with a lot of the time. But I haven't been so much for the last 7 years. That's because of abuse. And because if I am masking or pretending everything's okay, pretending to be one of you guys, then you guys pretend like there is no problem. Even if I'm telling you about it in a calm and collective way, you blow me off. Now, when I act like one of your predators and I call you all those nasty, dirty names that they call you, that's when you stop to pay attention. And that is so completely pathetic. Is that you have taught me to get negative attention to try to get help because you're going to ignore any positive attention that I'm trying to get to try to get help stopping it. I need help stopping abuse. A lot of people in other countries don't understand what kind of impact they can have because a lot of people, like here, Chris hasn't really watched many of my videos or hasn't made much of an effort, but he's at least made some. Many of you guys across the world watch my stuff more than anybody that I know actually watches it, except for my predators. My friends didn't want to pay any attention. They wanted to ignore it. Everything in their life is more important than me. They made that loud and clear. That includes going out drinking with their friends on the weekends. You think in 6 years' time they could take a day off from drinking with their friends on Saturday night and maybe spend one Saturday night actually listening to find out? Oh, Daniel Brown type dog videos on my channel. So I don't know why that message was held for review. If you've got dog videos on your channel, that's actually pretty cool. I don't know why it was held for review. It doesn't need to be. Thank you for clarifying, by the way. I like dogs myself. I volunteered at an animal rescue run by Lana Engeline called Give 'Em Out a Home for 2 years, and then I ran the place for 2 years under false pretenses, of course. I let them know that I didn't have the money to rent the place or to buy the place, and Lana and Amanda told me that if I took care of the dogs, they'd send me money every month. They never sent the money. The thing is, it's difficult for anybody to find out anything about what's going on at all in 20 minutes. The phone that I recorded it on, I don't have the ability to fast forward through the video. So, there's a lady who comes in, she talks about the situation with Tom and Molly a little bit. She talks about a lot of stuff for about 40 minutes straight. So, like I said, she stood there with a laundry basket with another laundry basket stacked on top of it, carrying or holding both of those baskets. I got the door for her twice because I thought she was going outside. And then after about 20 minutes of holding it, she finally put it down. Daniel Brown typed, "It's sun and windy here now, New Zealand in." You seem to not have English as a first language. Where are you originally from, Daniel Brown? Either that or you're doing talk to text, and that always ends up being a pain in the ass for me, too. It smells like something fucking died in my vehicle. Something probably did. Anyway, my phone is starting to charge. I'm gonna try to take a little cat nap. I gotta try to make it up the mountains. My stuff is abandoned up there. I needed fucking help. I'm having to do these things because people keep blowing me off, not taking it seriously, and hanging out is more important than helping me. Hanging out is more important than listening. I do need somebody to take a day out and actually help, but I need them to do it sooner rather than later. He needs to understand why shipping me to another jurisdiction isn't going to work. The evidence that I send him and have him look at, I need him to be able to help share that with wherever it needs to go. And if he's going to make a call on my behalf, he needs to make it with me, not for me. Otherwise, he increases the risk of neither of us being heard and of the police and the courts ignoring any and all situations and trying to separate them into individual stuff that has nothing to do with anything and fucking play stupid. See, the thing is, after I've wasted an entire 2 days and explained that I can't just waste all of my time like this, and it is wasted, and I have to understand that other people have lives of their own and their own problems. But the thing is, I listen to them and all of their fucking problems. They're busy telling me their problems over the top of mine. Tonight, Chris didn't do that real heavy, which is nice. He was just, otherwise occupied the whole time. I'm gonna try to take a short nap while my phone charges, because otherwise it's gonna die in the middle of this, and that makes it difficult. Anyway, y'all be safe.